Could you start off just by telling us a little bit about your company and what you do?
Of course. So Sllick is my business. We help businesses become more efficient and automated through apps and accounts. Mostly we're helping businesses move on to zero and then look around their financial processes. And we also help businesses on a day-to-day basis completely streamline their internal processes by providing a virtual finance team. So it's going really well. We launched last year in March 2020, which is obviously a key date in a lot of people's memories, but for us it was a really positive month. And the time's just flown by. So yeah, that's lit.
What were you doing before you engaged with Udraft, or what were you looking for from an intern? What kind of frustrations and problems were you facing?
So our problem was mostly that we were so busy doing the day to day that we knew we had to get onto our social media and our marketing side of things, but it was purely down to a lack of time. And the idea of taking on an intern really appealed to us. We're big advocates of giving people experience and giving people that opportunity to get into work or learn new skills directly in the workplace. So for us, it was kind of a chance to try having someone in the door without committing to it full time, but also just giving us the freedom to say, hey, actually, can you just run with the social media side of things, blog writing, whatever else we got, or whatever else we ended up doing, but can you run with it? And we'll just kind of say yes or no and be that end point rather than getting involved with the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
For us, I guess knowing you guys' story as well really appealed to us. I also knew who you guys were and what the story was behind you, Drafter, which appealed as well. But the ease of being able to get a resource was incredible for us and just made it such an easy decision to go with.
Fantastic. And you highlighted that main frustration was just having the time to go and to get someone to do this for you. And had you hired an intern before, or was that your first time hiring an intern?
No, so that was our first time hiring an intern. For us, like my journey into accounts was actually basically a school leaver position. So although I don't even know how old I am, but pre-30s, I think. My career spanned over 10 years now, and that's purely from leaving school and getting straight into work. But from a uni perspective as well, it's so pivotal to get that first role. And there's so many businesses that are looking for 5 years experience with a degree, but you're straight out of uni and it doesn't work, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And we're quite a modern firm, and the idea of having someone that's using social media day to day anyway made complete sense rather than trying to have someone that was learning social media, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And how did you feel about taking on an intern for the first time?
We were probably more nervous that with what we would need to do to support them rather than what they could do for us.
Yeah.
But I think we hit the absolute gold with the old land, like so much so that we're hiring our full time this month, which is great.
Wow.
But yeah, we were more nervous about what we would need to do to support them. And the reality is that she's such a self-starter. She just gets on and wants to find new things, and she's just incredible, honestly. So yeah, we were just didn't know what we would need to do to support her, but we were super excited, albeit a little bit nervous, not knowing what their experience would be like. But yeah, it was the best thing we've done so far, I think.
That's really great to hear. And what's in particular important for you guys over at Sllick? What do you look for when you're hiring? Is it purely skills based, or is it sort of culture fit, or a mixture of both, or what's kind of going through your mind when you're going through that process?
To be honest, it is more culture fit than skill set. Skills can be taught as long as someone's keen to learn. For us, our business is all around change and managing change. So one of the key things that we need to understand is whether the people we're hiring can accept change as well. At the end of the day, we'll move really, really fast on things and change processes and the way we do things. So we need our team to be the exact same as what we need from our clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we were looking for interns, it was very much that personality more than anything. And yeah, for Yola, and she just blew us away with that as well. I should speak too highly of her because folk will want to tout her as well.
Well, you've got in early. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's really interesting to hear. And what was your return on investment in an intern in ULAN initially? You mentioned the time aspect as well, but you know, what other areas could be quantitative, could be qualitative in your day-to-day business as usual? What was that sort of return on investing in her?
So yeah, the time would be the biggest thing for us. The time, and if you can somehow quantify the stress relief, that would be another thing that you can't obviously. But I guess the other side of it was it really made us think about outsourcing this work and actually whether we needed to. So from a financial perspective, it saved us a couple of thousand a month anyway by saying actually long term we'd be better going internal, just taking her on board. And when we spoke to other companies initially about doing our social media, they were maybe wanting to charge 5, 6, 700 quid a month to do it. And the reality is that it's nothing particularly complex. It just needed a bit of thinking and a bit of doing. And why not give that opportunity to someone that actually needs the experience and could benefit from that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally know where you're coming from there. Really good insights on the ROI. Sorry, there. And why UDrafter as a an online service compared to maybe your traditional channels like a third party or what you would normally think of when you think of students and graduates?
For us, it was probably the ease of use. I don't know if I'm just in a generation that has anxiety anytime someone phones, but I much prefer being able to do things in my own time. So the fact that it's an online platform meant that if I had time on a Friday night and nobody was about, I could still go on and put up our project or be responding to messages and things like that. Um, Being from Aberdeen as well, I guess there's a bit of a wanting to support local, and you guys obviously started at RGU, and for me that was kind of a nice thing to do. But the more I actually got speaking to people after we'd hired through UDrafter, there's clearly a demand for this service because actually I started to say, oh yeah, it was UDrafter we used, and the conversation was then, what a great idea. Why is there not someone else doing this? And it's like, well, that is the idea of UDrafter. So yeah, ease of use, being able to just go on at any time. I'd much prefer to have everything in one place, whereas emails and stuff can get missed, as you've experienced with me the last few weeks. So just knowing where everything is and being able to go on and kind of action it there and then was perfect. And even
Absolutely.
things like the app, being able to approve timesheets and see messages and things. It's just the way we work. We're all for modern technology and it
Yeah,
suits us to a T.
absolutely. And why what sort of piqued your interest about UDrafter? And I can't actually remember where it was that you found out about us. Where was it?
I don't actually know. I don't know if it's just something that I've known about since you guys started. There's obviously been a few businesses kind of come out the back of, well, RGU in particular seems to be a really great starting point for people starting businesses, and there's been a few that I've kind of kept an eye on. So I think it's probably just word of mouth and following you guys on social media and things and seeing what you're up to and then taking a look when it was actually something of interest for us.
Yeah,
And then obviously having used it now, I've talked to a lot of people about it and say, you should check this out. It's probably worth a shot if that's the kind of thing you're looking for.
yeah. Well, that actually you've partially answered my next question,
Okay.
but we'll ask it anyway. How likely would you be to recommend UDrafter, and why should someone maybe listening to this? Why should they take action just now?
I would recommend UDrafter any day of the week. For us, it eliminated the risk of hiring. It then lets you test the water. It lets you come away and say, do we have the infrastructure to support an intern? How would we do it? What are we looking for? And it gives someone else a chance. I think it's so difficult for people to get into a career path just now, especially. that
Yeah.
if you've got the facility and the finance and the infrastructure, really think about it. We're all lucky to be where we are, but there's people that are just starting out, and why not give them a shot? So yeah, I'd recommend you every day of the week.
Thank you very much. That was a great elaboration from your first one.